Hey, Christy Birchville here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Genesis chapter 41. We're looking at new beginnings. We've been talking about the story of Joseph. He has so many tremendous things through this whole chapter. It really was hard to pick just one thing. We could spend an entire week on chapter 41 with all the different things that are in this chapter. We see Pharaoh having his dreams. We see the cupbearer remembering Joseph and the things that Joseph did for him while he was in prison. And we see them calling Joseph and Joseph coming and interpreting Pharaoh's dreams. Now, the last 2 days, we've talked a lot about how Joseph had favor with the people that he worked with and how favor was so very important. And then we learned about how he gave God credit for everything. He never took the glory himself. He never attributed that to himself. He always gave it back to God. Well, here in chapter 41, he's meeting Pharaoh. Pharaoh, the one that according to Egyptian culture, Pharaoh was God. This wasn't just he was like God or he was in their culture, Pharaoh was God. So when Joseph comes in and says, Pharaoh's like, hey, I have a dream. I hear you can interpret dreams. And Joseph makes this statement in that chapter and says, dream interpretation is only to the one true God. That would have been life-changing for Pharaoh. And then to have this Hebrew, Joseph, actually give him an interpretation. Pharaoh makes the statement in verse 38, can we find anyone like this man in whom is the Spirit of God? Pharaoh, who was, for all practical intents and purposes, God in that culture, is now recognizing the one true God because of the way Joseph handled the situation and because of the blessing that God gave Joseph to be able to answer the question and be able to give him the interpretation. If we are praying and asking God to give us favor with the people we work with, and if we are continually and purposefully giving God the credit for everything that he does, what we will see is that the people around us will recognize God. It won't be that they see us, they see God. And that's who they really need to see in the first place. It's an exciting and amazing turn of events through this when you think about it from the cultural impact of that day. When you think about it for today, how many people need to see God and need to recognize him in their lives? We have the opportunity to do that. Are we providing that to other people because of the way in which we give God credit for everything that we do? Something to think about today. Thanks.